Frog Prince, a magical tale. Once upon a time, in a beautiful kingdom, there lived a princess who loved to play by a sparkling pond in the royal garden. Every day, she would toss her golden ball into the air and catch it with a laugh. One sunny morning, as she played by the pond, the golden ball slipped from her fingers and plopped into the deep water with a splash. "Oh no!" cried the princess, dismayed. "My ball! It's sunk to the bottom of the pond!" Just as the princess was about to cry, a small voice called out, "Princess, why do you weep?" Startled, she looked around and saw a big green frog with kind eyes peering up at her from the water. "Oh, kind frog," said the princess, wiping her tears, "my golden ball has fallen into the pond and I cannot retrieve it." "I can help," said the frog. "I will dive into the pond and fetch your ball, but in return, you must promise to let me eat from your plate, sleep on your pillow, and be your companion." The princess, eager to have her ball back, agreed hastily, though she didn't really believe a frog could retrieve it. To her surprise, the frog dived into the pond and soon emerged, holding the golden ball in his mouth. He placed it gently on the grass and looked up at the princess, waiting for her to fulfill her promise. Relieved to have her ball back, the princess nodded and hurried back to the castle, leaving the frog behind. That night, as the princess sat at the royal dinner table, there was a sudden knock at the door. Who could it be at this hour? Wondered the king. When the door opened, there stood the frog, dripping wet from head to toe. "Princess," he croaked, "remember your promise. Let me eat from your plate, sleep on your pillow, and be your companion." The princess was horrified. She didn't want to eat with a frog, and she certainly didn't want him in her bed. But her father, the king, reminded her firmly, "A promise is a promise, my dear. You must keep your word." Reluctantly, the princess allowed the frog to join her at the table. To her surprise, as she shared her meal, the frog's company wasn't so bad after all. He told her amusing stories and made her laugh. After dinner, the frog hopped onto her pillow and settled down for the night. The princess sighed and lay down beside him, trying to ignore the strangeness of it all. The next morning, when the princess woke up, she found a handsome prince standing by her bedside. He was smiling warmly at her. "Who are you?" gasped the princess, amazed. "I am the prince of the neighboring kingdom," he explained. "A wicked witch cast a spell on me, turning me into a frog. Only the kindness of a pure-hearted princess could break the spell." Overjoyed, the princess realized that the frog who had been her companion was now the prince she had dreamed of meeting. The princess and the prince spent many happy days together. They played by the pond, now filled with laughter and joy. The king and queen were delighted to see their daughter so happy and welcomed the prince into their kingdom with open arms. The tale of the Frog Prince teaches us about the importance of keeping promises and the rewards of kindness. The princess learns that true beauty lies within, and her kindness toward the frog transforms him into a prince. It encourages one to be compassionate and true to their word, for kindness can often lead to unexpected blessings and happiness.